So
Right.
really the cool thing about building an agency and playing team over being a lone wolf, right? Like I don't get to go as fast. I don't get to like make decisions on a whim and like whatever I want to do, right? So that like freedom and autonomy is down. But what allows playing as a team, like a wolf pack, it's like I get to really focus on what I absolutely love, which is building community and shifting the way we treat each other at work.
Mm.
For what I'm here to do is really evangelize how winning is extraordinary results times powerful experiences.
Today, I am thrilled to have Jacki Leahy with us. Jacki is a fractional revenue operations advisor and founder of Activate the Magic, a consulting firm that helps B2B companies under 200 employees optimize their revenue operations and go-to-market strategies. Welcome to the show, Jacki.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you. Shout out to Paul for introducing us. That was very neat of you, Paul.
Oh, Paul, always doing the connecting.
Awesome. Jacki, you have 12 contractors working with you at the moment at your agency. And how did being aggressively helpful to the community help you grow so fast?
Yeah, that's been the secret, right? So people are like, how did you start this and be successful all of a sudden? It's like, okay, this is literally just the tip of the iceberg. For decades, I have been just putting my 2 cents in when it was not requested, right? Like, or like in MSP, that's an it's a little older now, but it was like an email question, and I would just like have a cup of coffee and sit down with, and I would make a master post response with like pictures and diagrams and how to's, right? Like, so it's been like genuinely like 6 years, 6 or 7 years of just being absolutely over the top, aggressively helpful. And what that's done is it's built a community. Right now, it's most alive in Wizard of Ops. Shout out to, we call it the Best Friends Club. And it's just uh, creating that culture and that energy around like just endless curiosity and like a passion for contribution. Like there's a handful of people when I was an accidental Salesforce admin at a startup, I was hire number 10. Somebody had to figure out the back end of Salesforce, right? And that's when outreach was new and had to pipe that into Salesforce and not have things duplicate and all the things. And oh, I need things to automatically happen. The people who would like Vinny Policino, right? He would just hop on a Zoom middle of his day, hop on, be like, oh, this is how you use process automation. I'm like, what? I didn't know that Salesforce even did that. Like, so the education that I benefited from, right? And it's just like a group of people who are just obsessively like, we wake up with this karmic debt. Now we are trying to pay down.
I love this. I love how you put it. You wake up with this karmic debt.
Yeah. So as a result, right, from the average bystander, it's like, oh, it's lucky. It's like, sure, there's luck, but it's a lot of like interpersonal. There's just so much love there. There's adoration. There's just really, it's community, which you know, right? And so both people who are just amazing technicians, like geniuses and helpful. So I get to work with me and just and having that network of people who've experienced me are think of me first when Salesforce is giving them a headache at their company or when someone asks them like, oh, you have to talk to Jacki. So it's really been a byproduct of my peculiar personality.
I love this. This is very nicely put. So, you're saying that since you have been so aggressively helpful to this revenue operations community, larger, broader community over the past years, if not decade, then when you started this agency, it all came together, and you kind of like got the gift from karma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And really, it's the magic is in those first few customers, right? Like, I put out my shingle, right? So I was at Winning by Design, and they hired me to build out their RevOps practice. So exciting. Dream job. I had been obsessed with Winning by Design for years and years. I was a certified revenue architect, right? So this was like job of a lifetime. But 2022, I guess Bessemer is now calling it the Sassacre. Everything went sideways, and no longer was this the priority, right? So I found myself let go from my dream job. And again, it was my community who really rallied around me, and they're like, "What? Why are pick yourself up? What? No, no, you." And really, I just did a LinkedIn post, and I think I got my first like 3 clients. There, one person asked Instagram, and someone referred them to me. One of them was one of my coworkers at Winning by Design had landed in a new job and he needed help. And then another was from a personal referral from Nicole Smith, who first told me what revenue operations was, like in 2018 at an outreach user conference, right? So it happened so naturally. And then all of a sudden, I was like, I have too much work. For the first time, I was like, money is not, I can generate, but now can I deliver? And that's when I called up one of my good friends, James, and my good friend, Heather. Heather and I had worked together at a Salesforce consulting shop. And basically, I was like, you could not get a better person to handle this project. And so
Oh.
handing it off to someone was like, no, 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 you don't understand. Like, this is better. Like to truly like know that in my bones. And so it's not like I had this grand plan of a big thing. Really, I was just like, I need to pay my mortgage. Right. So like, can I do this? Just nice little lifestyle pottery sort of thing. And it's really been a surprise how much fun it is to work with just brilliant, curious, like serve it, like that posture of service. Like they're here in this world to contribute, and creating a team like that, it's just so cool.
This is this is so cool. I love this, and especially how you said that you got your first 3 clients from basically just telling your network that this is something that I'm doing, the new venture that you're on, and people just wanted to join you. People
Yeah.
like you got your first 3 clients, and like as a new consultant, as a new fractional, having 3 clients in your first, like first few weeks, that is big.
Mom.
That means
Yeah.
you're full. Your capacity is
Yeah.
full.
I was beyond full. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. I love this. And then you have obviously grown from there. You mentioned like what 12 contractors working with you on different client
Mhm.
projects. So
Mhm.
what has that been like? When did you hire your first like contractor, and what what has been like working with them?
Yeah, it's been an evolution, right? So it was born out of necessity. I was going to be having a big surgery over Christmas break last year. And so I really needed people, James and Heather, to like fully own those projects while I was going to be like on painkillers.
Yeah.
Like, that's true. Um, and so that was working well. And then more clients were coming, right? So it was just this natural evolution. So James had 2 clients and Heather had 2 clients. um and now like Heather is like literally the most brilliant architect I have ever met. Like there's nobody better. And it came to a point where it's like, Heather, there's only so much I can pay you out of the split, right? But what if you partner with me, have a piece of the whole business profit, right? And we build something bigger. And that was really the turning point where it was no longer me. There's only so much you can do with like the two best people ever, right? Like, and also if there's no one else to bring, you got to get people to like bring up as well, to raise talent wise, because then you have fresh curiosity, you get to teach them stuff, and then have them go and build those reports and do the stuff that anyone can do, as long as there's like playing bowling with those like bumpers sort of thing. And then they get better and better, and then that frees up Heather to be on a bunch of projects, right? Maybe not leading them, maybe not every single meeting, but have an awareness of all the projects and just really developing that pipeline of talent. And that's really where the magic is occurring. And I like to call it like the puzzle piece shuffle, right? So what I absolutely love is someone who's super passionate about this exact thing, like marketing to sales, handoffs, and like HubSpot scoring, and translating that at just like a passionate person about that, right? I love bringing them in for when that is needed. But then I don't want that person to be building something that they can do, but they don't really love it, right? Why don't we bring in someone who absolutely loves that part, or someone who absolutely wants to learn everything, so let's build them up, sort of thing. So really looking at it as like an Avengers squad, where as long as we can all trust that the work will come and the exact right people will be here when that work comes, it's kind of like a trusting the universe kind of like thing, like yeah. And it gets stressful because sometimes there's more work and demand than talent, and then I load up on talent, and then it's like, oh, I got to give them stuff to do or they'll leave, right? So it's this like, but I can't get too many clients because then I'll be so it's this deal flow plus talent flow plus coaching that talent, because staying with me might not be the best choice for them, right? Well, my good friend Trent, he just got an incredible new job with Go Nimbly, who's a fantastic, like, this is exactly for him. Like, I care more about him than what he can do for Activate the Magic, but like that all, caring about the people who are doing the work, it's like this right puzzle piece for this right client for this time, but then it shifts a little bit. And so it's like, really, I just have this like image of me like above like a bubbling cauldron and just being like, alakazam, and you over here and you over here. It's like this fun dance.
You make like, you're really good at creating pictures. So I think everybody listening to this podcast was now able to imagine you doing this, yeah, playing the role of this puzzle, maker, and
A witch's brew, and it's bubbling over
yeah.
here. Sometimes there's spills and we learn from them. I got to get that frog back in this pot, baby. Like,
That's very good. So going a little deeper into this puzzle piece shuffle strategy, um, can you tell me what does it enable you to do? Like, how does it enable you to do your best work? So, first, what is the work that you feel you really want to do? And like, how did you go from being a solo? So you started solo. You were in the business, like, in the trenches, doing probably everything, from getting clients to handling their requests, communicating with them, everything. So, what did that transition look like, and how does it now enable you to do your best work?
Yeah. Um, I think really being present and real with where my core strengths are, and like selecting partners that complement, right? So I'm I love doing podcasts like this. I love being out in the community, and I naturally sort of attract into a community. Um, but then going in and deep and debugging like a flow for the 58th time, like it's not that fun, right? So really bringing in someone who does absolutely love that data architecture and that nitty gritty there, um and who like Heather's like, how do you get these clients? Like what? Like it's like, what are you doing? We're like, how did you figure out that flow and data? Like how are you doing that sort of thing? So
Right.
really the cool thing about building an agency and playing team over being a lone wolf, right? Like I don't get to go as fast. I don't get to like make decisions on a whim and like whatever I want to do, right? So that like freedom and autonomy is down. But what allows playing as a team, like a wolf pack, it's like I get to really focus on what I absolutely love, which is building community and shifting the way we treat each other at work.
Mm,
For what I'm here to do is really evangelize how winning is extraordinary results times powerful experiences.
right.
Yeah. So, and it's got to have both, right? Because otherwise you're either in like a sweatshop, right?
Yeah.
Or you're kumbaya land, and you really need both to feel like winning. And winning is so exquisitely fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like this. Yeah. So you're you're able to use this like this freedom of mental capacity to think about the higher like higher level things about how to create the really good experience for your team members, for yourself, and how to just have a really good playground where everybody's able to do the work that they want to do and they're naturally inclined to do better.
Yeah. 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 I have a little reminder that I'm playing for spaciousness of mind.
Mm.
Um, Alex Hormozy, if I idolize him. Um,
I just started reading a book,
oh,
$100 million
so good.
leads, I think, or
Oh,
maybe offers.
yeah.
I don't remember which one.
Offers is the first book, Leads is the second. Offers
Okay,
changed my
offers.
offers changed my it's a
Right.
life-changing book. And I love his podcast. And last week it was all about entrepreneurship is all about buying back your time. And it's so tempting to like death grip things that we're good at, things that I'm good at. And I know, like, especially when, the market's a little bit gloomy right now, especially in B2B tech. Things are a little
Mhm.
gloomy out there. Like,
Mhm.
people who are like phenomenal, like world-class talent are on the streets,
Right.
right? So it gives us all a little bit of shakiness.
Mhm.
Um, what was I saying? But
We were talking about Alex Hermosi's
oh yeah,
new
buying back.
episode.
Yes. Oh, right. And
Yeah.
it's really tempting to like hold things close and kind of like smother it. But it's like I get to keep on reminding myself that no, I'm here for the journey. that I'm committed to building this awesome company that does things unlike anywhere else. And
Mhm.
so I get to continuously play for spacious of mine and buy back my time and take
Mhm.
risks on people, right? Like Dax, who works with us, he's amazing. He's more of a junior talent, kind of like learning all the ropes, doing amazing things. And so I was like, hey, you want to take on marketing? Like here's my vision. Here are some places that I think we need to go. Like first step is awareness, like getting at like B2B founders and early sales leaders, like, hey, you might have this problem of creating a process of sale, like a sales process, metrics. How do you explain to your founding team or to the board, investors, how do you explain to them that you do have a strategy and it will work? And how do you create those leading indicators so both the people around you and you have faith that you're not going to get fired at the next board meeting, right?
Right.
That this is a problem. You're not alone in this, right? So how do we create awareness around this? So I gave him that, and we're going to meet up weekly and put it together. But how fun is it for someone to actually like learn the ropes of demand gen by doing the demand gen in a place where he's supported and can play team?
Yeah. That's an amazing experience for anybody to, amazing learning experience.
Yeah. Like it's really tempting to keep it for myself.
Mhm. I like this. Did it ever like feel risky to grow it, like build a complete like agency that has a lot of people working in there? Have you ever built a business or an agency before this from the
Mm-mm,
ground up?
no. I mean, I was hired number 10 at Link Squares. So a lot of talent acquisition, right? And like building. But at the end of the day, it wasn't mine.
Hmm.
Um, and so there is a lot of just like energy around ego and reputation and like letting go, but not too far, right? So like I've had an experience where um my client wasn't happy, but they weren't telling me. And so like it got so bad that he finally told me, but it was like, oh, this is on me, right? Like I was too far removed, right? I was, hey, how's the project going? Great, we're working on this. Awesome. I did not dive deeper. I didn't check in with the client. I wasn't. So it's that balance of like trust but verify and like and also like, are you the right personality match for this technical match? Like, so trusting but also quality control. And like the bigger that we get, the less hands-on like certainty I have, which is exactly what we solve for with our clients. So I just need to like take my own gosh darn advice, right? Create systems. Oh goodness, if I only took my own advice. Like yeah, but it's like it's an emotional journey of like, yeah, like setting somebody up, getting the right person, enrolling them in the opportunity, in the vision of where the company's going, where the client's going, what this specific role for them provides, like what's the opportunity in that. So much enrollment, right? And alignment. Um, and like support, like here's what we think you need, but like tell us what else you need, keeping that feedback loop open. But then like kind of I was just watching Elf, like when Elf takes off, when Buddy takes off on a little iceberg, and it's like bye
Mhm.
bye. Because they're gonna be one-on-one with clients. And this is like, white glove service, paying like
Mhm.
4 to 15K a month. and this is like your hammer.
Mhm. This makes a lot of sense. Thank you for sharing this.
Hi, buddy. You meet your dad. Hope you do well. Like,
Right. Why do you say that? So, why change of topic? Why did you say that Alex Hormozi's book changed your life?
oh, oh. So he talks about the value equation, and it's like it's all the things that it's not like mind blowing. It's just so like yes, yes, that aha. It's like an aha. He
What is the value equation?
so the value equation, it's written out. So it is value equals expected result
Hmm.
times um what is it? Like probability. Yeah, expected result times probability over effort times time delay. So let's do two versions, right? So let's do working out for I'm overweight and I want to lose weight and I want to get in shape. Okay, so let's talk about the value equation for a gym. So expected result, like dream result is hot body, right? Personally, my goal right now is to do my first pull up times probability. Well, how many times have I started working out and not gone, right? So if 40% would be generous honest with my track over time delay. Oh my God, it's going to take at least 6 to 9 months. Like for real, for real. And effort, excruciating, like excruciating. So the value equation is slim. Now ask me how I'm
Right.
paying $200 a month for Equinox. I don't know. I'm committed. But but if I really just wanted to lose weight and look good, how about plastic surgery, right? Dream result, slamming body. Gotta beat men off with a stick. That sounded terrible, right? But like, gotta keep them at bay. Like, I'm gonna need some sort of weapon to protect myself because it's just slamming times probability. Well, I literally just go in, they sedate me, and I wake up with my dream body. Over time delay, nope. Like, as long as I can schedule the surgery, no time, little to no, and a little bit of recovery times effort. Really? No effort. No effort. So like the value equation of those two things is so it's solving the same problem, right? But it's so different. And so if you can really if you and because it's a like a division numerator denominator and a multiplier. So if you can bring either effort or time delay to zero, you have infinite value. And
Right.
really in creating offers like this, anyone can be an entrepreneur. Truly. Like read $100 million offers, follow Alex Hormozi, and literally if you have that vision, that spark, anyone can become a generational wealth shifting entrepreneur. Right? And having a value proposition, like an offer that is so good that people feel stupid saying no, having that and like the driving those levers and create something so good, you can really shift your generational trajectory.
And how are you applying this to yourself? So you said that it has changed your life. So can you give an example from running your business on how you use this value equation to create an offer that people cannot say no to?
Yeah, so I'm experimenting right now. So I've done a couple iterations of this new service, right? And I'm thinking about what I do as a service, as an offer, right? It's like, it's cool. It's cool to like really think about it as an offer. So I do have my, white glove service that's starts at 4K a month. And I've got a community, which is free, right? So I'm experimenting with in the middle. So I want to provide ridiculous amounts of value at a price point that's like, this is such a no-brainer. So, but obviously it's deliverability, right? So I can't offer the extra large package for $1,000 a month because that doesn't work. But what problems am I solving? And like, I kind of did this whole exercise. I was like, you know what? For companies that are early enough, who are like under 2 million ARR, really all of the problems are so similar and so easy for me to solve. They just don't have really the budget to pay for somebody. So what if I made a container for all those companies so they can learn from each other, kind of create like this mastermind community of people who are all in the same boat. So they're SaaS, they're B2B, they're doing the 0 to 1. And they all have the same things. Like, we're moving from HubSpot to Salesforce. Great. Here's your template. Let me help you. So I came up with RevOps on Tap, and it's unlimited asynchronous on a Slack channel. Now it's not one-to-one Slack. You're in a channel so other people can read it. So privacy, you give up privacy, right? And that like one-to-one, but you're in an awesome community, right? So you can ask your questions, get asynchronous help via Slack, and then have 2 to 3 scheduled office hours throughout the week. So if you do want that live access, you can hop on a Zoom, you can share your screen, we can take a look at your flow, we can take a look at your sales stages, right? All the things that I am more than equipped to do. And like, kind of, I don't need to prepare. Like, it's just what I've done a million times for years and years. So like, yeah, let's go. Let's have fun. We'll play some music. We'll get to know each other. We'll do it. So really packaging that as its own thing. So I'm calling it RevOps on Tap, and I'm building my first cohort. And now applying what I'm learning in $100 million leads to promote that. So that's sort of where I am now in my entrepreneurship journey.
I love this. So you're basically creating a community, a very, I think, tight-knit and private community, and offering that as a service because you're the person who is best equipped to bring all of these people together under this roof to talk about this particular subject matter. And then you can, instead of solving like each and every one of their, answering each and every one of their questions one by one yourself, you've got them under one roof together so that they can talk about it. It's like organizing a party, and then that is the middle service that you're offering.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a party. So I have my first yes. So I'm looking for 2 or 3 more to start the founding cohort. And so
That's
if you're
amazing.
listening to this now, let me know. Or if you're listening to this later, it's probably a big deal and I might not be able to let you in because there'll be a wait list.
A great way to build demand. Okay. We'll also be linking to a website. Like, we need a link to a website in the show notes so that people listening to it can just go and register for this. So go to the show notes, check out the show notes.
Thank you. Yeah, show notes.
Awesome. Okay, so this is an experiment. Like, this is something that you're trying to improve the consistency for deal flow for your business, right?
Yeah. So I'm really looking at it. Yeah. So deal flow and consistency, and like everything that I've done up to now has been very natural, very organic, very I'll say casual. Like my persona is a little bit scrappy, a little bit casual, a little silly, right? But to really get to that next level, like so I'm at like 700K ARR, to double that to 1.4, like there's an elevation that gets to happen, right? So it's not exactly formal. Like I don't think anyone will ever describe me as formal. But what's like that elevated casual? So approachable sort of thing, but also well defined. So I was just talking with Heather, my business partner, this morning about even like the sales process. Up until now, it's been like, hey, let's hop on a Zoom. What do you need? Okay, what package works for you? Just like, let's go. Easy peasy. And being like, now I'm being introduced to companies who don't really know who I am. Right. So how do I guide that conversation? So it's like, oh, I know, like, trust her now. And also, I'm not selling just me, right? I'm selling Activate the Magic. And how do I position that and guide that conversation, that like education and selection conversations around you're actually selecting this team, this vision. So who are we? What do we do? How we do it? Why we do it that way? Like really, I can talk to you about this all day, but solidifying that and making it into a process to really respect the time and attention of the prospect. Like what is the prospect's experience of dealing with Activate the Magic? So that's sort of that elevation that I'm working on now.
Like this. So basically, taking your brand and taking it from just being about you to making it be about activate the magic.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mhm.
And again, it's like, it's a service, it's a package, like it's creating a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe like maybe one milestone that you will have. I don't know if you've already had it, but maybe having a client who went from like learning about activate the magic to being serviced and being a happy customer without you being involved at all. That would be like a next
Yeah.
milestone, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. 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 Um, mm, yeah, that's like that's as exciting and intimidating as my first pull up.
I'm sure you can get both of them done in no time.
It's a journey, and that's what's fun, and that's what I absolutely love. Like I couldn't ask for a more fun journey right here, right now. Um, so yeah, if you're out there, you're listening, and this is right up your alley, like let's be friends. Um, we become the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So I'm actively looking for people who are on this path, who are ahead of me or figuring out the same sort of things. And I do have a community. It's called the Cauldron. It's a mysterious collection of GTM operators. Um, the tagline I'm developing is we like to stir the pot, pot stirrers, right? The Cauldron. So if that speaks to you, it's GTM operators, fractionals, and in-house. Um, yeah, show
I
notes.
like this. Yes, show notes within the show notes.
No.
We'll have links to the quadrant in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Another question. What have you learned about time blocking and setting up your calendar, setting guardrails around it to
Mhm.
support your brain as you go to newer heights with your business?
Yeah, this is another journey I'm on, right? So like, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. Like that's sort of how I operated up until recently, right? Like go, 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 um, do it all magically with a smile. And like hard work equals output equals money equals value, right? So, and it's a very archaic and call it like, this is what we've been socialized into, and it doesn't make it true. So really, instead of looking at it as like, I'm going to do all this stuff so I can have all money and glory and impact, and then I can finally be successful and be happy, right? So switching that around from, you know, do do have be to be do have. If I'm going to be joyful, be loving, be collaborative, what's that going to drive me to do? So like, what things can I do in committed action to who I'm being? And that's going to produce what I have. So if I'm going to, yeah. So my core values are coziness and elevation. Like truly. And that's something I'll also recommend to entrepreneurs, is to really like reflect on, what are my core values? Like, is it wealth? Is it fame? Is it like love? Is it affection? Is it comfort? Right? Like power? Like what are my values? And really create a life by design, business and life around what my values are, because that's everything. And so to create coziness, I only schedule things Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I can truly like shut off my being perceived persona, 5 out of 7 days of the week, or 4 out of 7 days of the week. And Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays being really conscious about what I'm scheduling and when, right? So Wednesdays, I do mostly internal things. So internal meetings and brainstorming. In the afternoon, I'll do podcast recordings and networking. And right, so, and networking calls are so important, both for peers and learning, going up, and mentoring, right? Like I love that about my life, that I do get to talk to people who want to be me. That sounds so arrogant, but like, yeah, like, and I want to have my calendar open for that. But it's also, I get to be really responsible around that. Because if I put a calendar link, book me anytime, all the time, then I'm going to be exhausted, and that's no good. That's no good. So Calendly, I've found, is a phenomenal tool. So I can create different types of meetings, and either only so many in a week or really select the times. And once they're booked, they're booked. So my link is out there. You just might have to book a few weeks out. Right. So it's really being conscious about what I'm spending time on and why I'm spending time on that.
And this is how, so you mentioned two of your personal values. One is coziness, and this is how you're using coziness in your, scheduling and your personal life. The one you mentioned was elevation. So is there an example of how you're using that? Like, how does that show up in your personal
Oh my
day-to-day routine?
gosh. Yeah. So I'm very much passionate about like the human potential and transformation. So I often volunteer as a coach and leader around transformational leadership programs. So the one that I'm currently working with is Atlas Project. So it's a really cool training. And it's all about sort of taking a look at what we do, how we show up in the world and in relationships, getting that feedback and taking a look at like, okay, why? What has me believe this silly thing that I'm not worthy? And really taking a look at results and feedback and being like, is this what I'm committed to? Well, apparently, like if I say I'm committed to having a Ferrari, but there's a Kia Soul in my parking spot, based on results, I'm committed to having a Kia Soul.
Yeah.
So what gets to shift if I truly am committed to a Ferrari? Who do I have to become? What needs to shift for me to create that result? So it's a little bit, a little bit woo-woo, a little bit touchy-feely, right? But it's emotional intelligence, and it's really opened up my ability to truly create and live a life that I'm just like so in love with, so like squishy, obsessed with.
Love this. Thank you for being so vulnerable over here.
Of course, of course.
And let's talk about marketing for a little bit. What do you think people get wrong about personal branding and messaging, especially when it comes to demand generation for their consulting businesses?
Yeah. And it's something that I'm doing and I'm working on too. So you spot it, you got it, right? I tend to want to make my marketing about me or my company and what makes us so great. And that's really irrelevant, right? And so to actually empathize to figure out who is my audience, like who is my audience? And like this podcast is super fun. This is like decadent, right? Because this is stuff that I love and I want to talk about. But this audience actually isn't my audience. This is my fun time, playmates, right? But my audience is actually founders and early sales leaders at tech startups, B2B, SaaS, right? So to actually put myself in their shoes and design marketing programs that speak their love language to that in their timing. So to make it about them, even like I just heard this, Mark Finnick is incredible. He's actually leading the next witching hour, Cauldron Witching Hour. Check the show notes. He says, your LinkedIn isn't your resume. It's not about what you've done. It's for when your audience come, what can you do for them? Why does it matter to them? And so really redesigning, refactoring my LinkedIn, what I say, how I say it, really in their shoes, while still being authentic. That's what we get wrong. Simple.
I like this. This is actionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even like your headline, like right now I'm retooling mine, vision operationalizer. That very cool. Love it. But like, what does that even mean? Like a founder of a startup, they're like, they can't be bothered to even figure out what that means. Like it says nothing. It says absolutely nothing. I might as well just say hoverboard. Like it's meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you need to dig in to understand the secret metaphor that you're trying to be, then at one point it doesn't even make sense.
Yes. And I'm like good at this stuff. Like I have a LinkedIn audience and I'm good at this stuff and it sucks. So there it is.
I love it. Okay. We're coming back. We're coming to the hour, and that is all the time we have. So I want to end with one final question, which is, what would you recommend to people, the listeners who are trying to grow their LinkedIn audiences?
Woo! Okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to post every day from the same device every day
Okay.
between 8 and 9 a.m. your local time.
Cool. Why
Do
the same
text.
device?
I don't know. The algorithm. I don't know. This is it. This is a little bit my lived experience and a lot of listening to the people who are better at it than I am. Um, so same device, same time of day, text, right? And the reason people are doing line breaks and emojis is because it's attention, right? So if people have to stop and like unfurl, that's like good algorithm wise. Sam McKenna is amazing. Hashtag Sam Sales. She was she did like this awesome post about LinkedIn. She actually has a course you can buy. It's fantastic. Like I haven't done the course, but I guarantee it'll go buy that. But another thing is like careful with tagging people in your post because if the people that you're tagging aren't immediately interacting with it, it's like ding, it assumes you're doing it for clout or for reach and they're going to ding you on that. Also, also, here's where I've fallen victim to. If you notice a typo, do not edit it.
What?
As
Okay.
Yeah, if you edit it within the first hour, nope.
Oh my God.
I know.
I don't even have typos and I go back and edit my posts all the time because when I
No,
read them, I'm like, no, I need to tweak this little
no.
thing.
Exactly. Yeah, same. If you're a perfectionist, raise your hand. Like, if you're I'm a control enthusiast.
Okay, so do not be a perfectionist on LinkedIn posts.
No, or do all that and like really be responsible. When I press post, that's it.
Hmm, interesting.
A
So,
pre-published perfectionist.
exactly, that's what you need to be.
Yeah, yeah.
I love this. All right, Jacki. So we're almost at the hour, and I want to thank you for coming and joining me for this amazing conversation. It was so fun talking to you about your business, how you're building, and how you're approaching leadership, and all the things that you discussed and shared with us. Thank you so much for being so generous with us. It has been such a pleasure having you.
This has been my favorite conversation in eons. So